Megan works as a waitress in a high-end restaurant, which boasts of a massive kitchen with 3 rows of stoves. Typically, the last row's stoves aren't used unless the restaurant is very busy. These stoves are located at the back and are out of sight unless you walk up to the last row. The restaurant has at least 50 employees when fully staffed. On a particularly busy night, Megan dashes in and out of the kitchen while attending to tables. When a customer needs a high chair for their baby, she has to go to the back of the kitchen where they are stored. On her way there, she passes the 3rd stove area and notices a chef cooking there. She is taken aback because the manager had informed her that the 3rd stove wouldn't be used tonight since they were understaffed. However, Megan dismisses her surprise, assuming that the staff from another restaurant location had been called in to help out. Despite the day's hustle and bustle, Megan manages to complete her work and finishes her shift. Megan is the newest addition to the restaurant staff, and as is customary for new employees, she has to stay back late to clean and close up the restaurant. Working alongside 2 other coworkers, she takes care of cleaning the kitchen while they clean the dining area. As she makes her way to the 3rd stove at the back of the kitchen, Megan spots the same chef she saw earlier in the day, still there cutting up meat. The chef, who is around 50 years old with long white hair tied in a ponytail, catches Megan's attention, and she wonders why he is staying back so late. Megan tries to make conversation with him, but he doesn't seem to hear her and continues with his work. She assumes he must be preparing food for the next day, but she can't help but feel puzzled since she's never seen him before, and he might be a staff member from another location. Megan brushes it off and carries on with her work. When she returns to the 3rd stove area after 10 minutes, the chef has left, and the area is surprisingly clean, requiring minimal cleaning from her. When Megan arrives at work the next day, she overhears a conversation between her coworkers, Mark and Peter. Mark inquires whether Peter had cut the beef the previous day because it was already sliced and stored in the refrigerator. Peter denies it and expresses confusion about who could have prepared the meat. Megan then interjects, telling them about the chef she saw cutting meat in the 3rd row kitchen late the previous night. However, Peter is bewildered since nobody was supposed to be working in the 3rd row kitchen since that stove was not in use the previous day. Despite this, Megan is convinced that she saw the chef cutting meat, and she even describes his unique appearance with long white hair and a ponytail. Both Mark and Peter are perplexed because they are not aware of any chefs with such distinctive hair at their location, and they suspect that it may have been a staff member from another branch. On the same night when the restaurant was about to close, Megan was taking out the trash from the back of the restaurant. The trash bin was in an alley, and as she was dumping the trash, she saw the same chef with a ponytail, dumping his own trash. The chef's trash seemed heavy, so Megan rushed over to help him. He quietly thanked her and was about to leave when Megan asked him if he was a staff member from another location. The chef turned and looked at her for about 5 seconds before answering, "Yes," and walking back into the restaurant. Megan found the chef's behavior odd, and wondered why she didn't see him earlier during the dinner shift. Did he arrive late? Or was he there the whole time? Megan hurried back inside the restaurant to catch up with the chef and asked him, but he was nowhere to be found. He must have left right away, leaving Megan puzzled. On the following day, Megan informed Peter and Mark that she saw a chef with a ponytail the previous night. However, Peter and Mark claimed that they hadn't seen anyone fitting that description in the kitchen yesterday. Megan became increasingly worried. She decided to approach John, the manager, and inquire if they had a staff member with white hair and a ponytail. John appeared puzzled and replied in the negative. John was responsible for contacting other restaurant locations for backup if they were understaffed, and he had not done so in the last 2 days. Megan persisted and informed John that she had seen the chef with the white hair and ponytail in the past 2 days. John agreed to check with Wendy later. Wendy, the restaurant director who had worked there longer than John, would not be available later that night. After the dinner rush, John and Megan visited Wendy in her office to discuss Megan's sighting of a chef with white hair and a ponytail. Wendy's face turned pale upon hearing the description and explained that the chef Megan saw sounded like a former employee of the restaurant who worked there for 8 years and became a crucial member of staff. He worked tirelessly, often staying late to prepare ingredients for the following day. However, the stress of the job eventually led to mental health issues, and one night, he hanged himself in the restaurant's kitchen. His co-workers discovered his body the next day. Hearing the story, Megan began to feel a chill down her spine, wondering if she had seen the ghost of the deceased chef in the past 2 days. Megan stayed late that night to clean and close the kitchen, but expressed her fear of being alone in the restaurant. Peter, Mark, John, and Wendy all offered to stay with her to help. While they were working, suddenly, the lights began flickering. The back door leading to the trash bin suddenly slammed shut. After that, a gust of wind blew through, making the pots and pans hanging clank against each other. The group was startled and scared. Wendy spoke up and said, "Harry, is that you?" She looked around the restaurant and continued saying, "Harry, we thank you for your hard work for the restaurant. Your work here is done now. We hope you can rest in peace." The clanking of pots and pans eventually ceased after about 10 seconds, and the flickering lights stopped as well, returning everything to normal. Megan never saw the white-haired chef again after that incident, but the experience stayed with her, and she never forgot about it.